The Vagos, Rockstar's most deliberately invisible gang. Every gang in GTA 5 wants you to notice them. The Ballas flash purple across Davis and Strawberry. The families carry Franklin's entire origin story on their backs. The Lost MC tear through Blaine County like a club with a death wish. These gangs are loud by design, built to be seen, felt, and remembered by the player. They get missions, they get cutscenes, they get dialogue that makes them feel like they matter. Then there are the Vagos. Yellow, present, everywhere and somehow nowhere at all. Most players who've logged hundreds of hours in Los Santos file the Vagos under background noise. The gang you shoot through in Rancho on the way somewhere else. A wanted level you lose in 2 minutes. Cannon fodder with a color scheme. You drive through their territory, clear a block, move on. They barely register. That's exactly what Rockstar wants you to think. Because when you stop and actually look at the Vagos at their confirmed territory, their documented criminal structure, and the deliberate way Rockstar keeps them out of the main story, a completely different picture emerges. The Vagos are running infrastructure, and Rockstar embedded that fact so deep into the game's geography and lore that most players walk right past it. The surface level perception. On face value, the Vagos read as one of GTA 5's most generic factions. Yellow shirts, Rancho, angry at everyone. They don't appear prominently in the main story. There's no Vagos boss who sits across from Michael in a diner, no Vagos alliance that drives the plot forward, no mission where a protagonist has to understand them as a power. For most of GTA 5's story mode, they exist as mission set dressing. Their actual story mode presence is deliberately minimal. They show up in Repossession, the third mission in the entire game, when Franklin and Lamar go to Vespucci Beach to repo a bike from a Vagos member named Esteban Jimenez. Lamar immediately escalates it into a massacre, as Lamar does, and the Vagos absorb the hit. That's essentially the sum total of their story mode billing. They also appear in Trevor's second Rampage mission, which exists mainly to give you an excuse to destroy things. That's it. 2 appearances with 0 narrative consequence. For a gang that the game itself describes through its in-universe TV program, The Underbelly of Paradise, as an extremely powerful multinational decentralized criminal network, that's a striking amount of silence from Rockstar's story department. The gap between what the Vagos are and how little the story acknowledges them is the entire point of this video. Territory analysis. Pull open the map and look at what the Vagos actually control. Not symbolically, but geographically. They hold almost the entire neighborhood of Rancho. Their primary hotspots are Jamestown Street and the Rancho projects in the south, a dense housing complex of 9 buildings and 4 parking lots that the GTA Wiki directly compares to Nickerson Gardens in Watts, Los Angeles. Their gang tags are on the walls, their vehicles sit in the lots, their members move in groups of 3 to 5 throughout the area at all times. This is total territorial saturation, not a patrol. Their territory doesn't stop at Rancho. The East Side Vagos, one of 3 confirmed sets, controls Cypress Flats, the massive industrial estate on the southeastern edge of Los Santos. To understand why that matters, look at what Cypress Flats actually is. It's one of the largest warehouse and industrial zones in the entire map. It borders the Los Santos River to the west, the Elysian Fields Freeway to the east, and sits directly adjacent to Elysian Island and the Terminal Port District to the south. A defunct rail line runs through it. Active freight trains pass through the underground tunnel under Popular Street. The Murrieta oil field sits to the east. Grand Bank Steel, Raven Abattoir, Central Milling Company, these are the kind of industrial facilities that surround the East Side Vagos turf. This is not a symbolic street block, but logistics territory. Consider what it means in criminal operational terms to hold Cypress Flats. You have proximity to freight routes, a port district, warehouse infrastructure where movement of vehicles and goods at unusual hours is invisible against the ambient industrial backdrop, and freeway access without sitting in a residential neighborhood where movement gets noticed. The GTA Wiki description of Cypress Flats states it directly. It is home to some of the largest warehouses and industrial facilities in the game. The Vagos own the gang territory surrounding and within it. One SecuroServe in-game description of a Cypress Flats property even notes, without irony, that there is no more discreet place to locate a gigantic storage unit than in a neighborhood full of other gigantic storage units. Rockstar didn't place the East Side Vagos in Cypress Flats by accident. Industrial cover is not glamorous turf, it's functional turf. There's a meaningful distinction between a gang that wants the most visible street to claim respect and a gang that wants the most useful infrastructure to move product. The Vagos have the latter, and they hold it across 3 internally organized sets with defined jurisdictions. North Side Vagos controls the north of Rancho, where they border and conflict with the Barrios Los Aztecas. Original LS Vagos controls the south of Rancho, where proximity to Bala territory keeps them in a constant low-level war. East Side Vagos controls Cypress Flats and the eastern edge of Rancho. 3 sets, 3 defined zones. No internal overlap. That's organizational structure, not street chaos. The economic layer. The GTA Wiki description of the Vagos doesn't bury the lead. They are described as an extremely powerful multinational decentralized criminal network whose principal interest is drug trafficking, diversified into mid-level distribution, end-user sales, and other contraband. Many of their upper leaders are incarcerated and they run their network from prison via cell phone. Their hierarchy is flat but highly competitive. If one leader is eliminated, many more are ready to step into the role. Read that again. A flat hierarchy where leadership removal doesn't collapse the organization. No single point of failure. No one boss whose death ends the enterprise. This is a structural design that mirrors how durable real criminal organizations actually operate, and Rockstar built it directly into the Vagos' in-game lore. Contrast this with nearly every other gang in the game. The Lost MCs chapter collapses almost immediately because its structure was entirely dependent on Johnny Klebitz's leadership. The O'Neill brothers are a family operation. Take out the family, you take out the operation. Trevor destroys both of these enterprises in story mode precisely because their structures are centralized and therefore fragile. The Vagos are designed differently. They have confirmed involvement in drug trafficking across Los Santos, negotiations with the Lost MC on drug deals prior to the game's events, and they've been linked to the Madrazo cartel in later GTA Online updates, indicating cross-organizational economic relationships, not just corner-level street dealing. In the GTA Online prison break heist setup, the crew has to steal a plane from Mackenzie Field Hangar, which is being guarded by Vagos, confirming their reach into Blaine County beyond just the city proper. The Vagos are not a gang in the traditional GTA narrative sense of escalating ambition and turf drama. They're a layer of the city's criminal economy that was already there when the game starts, is still there when the game ends, and will be there indefinitely. The narrative suppression. If the Vagos are this structurally coherent, if their territory is industrial and strategic, their criminal organization is multinational and decentralized, their hierarchy is designed to survive leadership losses. Why does Rockstar give them almost nothing in the main story? The answer is a design choice, rooted in what GTA 5 is fundamentally about. GTA 5 is a story about escaping systems. Michael is trying to escape the slow suffocation of witness protection and a life he bought with compromises he can never fully cash out. Franklin is trying to escape the gravitational pull of a neighborhood that has already decided what he's worth and has no interest in updating that assessment. Trevor is trying unsuccessfully, catastrophically, to escape himself. All 3 protagonists are in motion. All 3 are running from structures that want to hold them in place. A gang with a rising arc would require the player to track an organization evolving to care about a system gaining power. But GTA 5 doesn't want you watching systems evolve. It wants you watching individuals break out of them. Giving the Vagos a narrative arc would make them characters, and characters would compete with the story that's already being told. So instead, they become something more honest and more quietly unsettling. A permanent layer. They don't rise. They don't fall. They're not waiting for their moment. They're simply operational, the way the freeway is operational, the way the port is operational, the way the industrial eastern edge of any major American city simply functions regardless of what any individual does in proximity to it. Their story mode appearances reflect this. In Repossession, Franklin and Lamar massacre a group of Vagos in a Vespucci Beach alley, take a bike, and leave. No consequence, and even no named Vagos figure who comes hunting across 3 missions. The game moves on immediately. The Vagos absorb the event and continue operating. This is not poor storytelling but accurate modeling of how durable organizations respond to localized disruption. They don't retaliate narratively because durable organizations don't personalize disruption. They manage it and keep moving. Rockstar's design philosophy. Rockstar uses its gang factions as lenses. Each major group in GTA 5 illuminates something specific about the city and the story being told inside it. The Ballas function as Franklin's emotional opposition. They represent the terminus, the path he's actively trying not to lock himself into. Their presence in the story is personal and thematic, not geopolitical. The Lost MC are structured collapse. A club that once had internal logic and brotherhood, now running on mythology and meth, held together by inertia long after the substance that gave it meaning is gone. Their arc in GTA 5, such as it is about entropy. Merryweather is corporate militarization. Private armies, government contracts, the total privatization of organized violence. They're the game's comment on what force looks like when money has fully replaced ideology. The Vagos are none of those things. They are structured persistence, a criminal organization that has existed long enough and organized itself effectively enough to become part of the city's operating layer. indistinguishable at the ambient level from any other piece of functioning urban infrastructure. Their spawn behavior reinforces this. They hold their defined territory with a consistency that reads less like aggression and more like maintenance. This mirrors what the game's own lore tells you about them. Their leaders are incarcerated and managing the network remotely, which means the ground-level operation is running on institutional momentum, not individual ambition. That is the Vagos function in GTA 5's world design, a system that was present before any protagonist arrived and will remain after all of them are gone. Systems get maintained. The Vagos survive in the background. The Duggans tried to own the foreground. Old money, casino empire. The kind of family that believed Los Santos was something you could buy. And despite all that wealth and influence, they became one of the most publicly dismantled crime families in the game. If the Vagos are persistence, the Duggans are ambition. Watch that breakdown next.